yes, why not start with a little bit of that? That's a nice little tune, little rendition of Manic Manx. And it seemed very fitting. I only made that a few days ago, and it was very fitting to use it on the last video, and also very fitting for this stream as well. Start it on that vein. This is not a stream to attack. This is not a stream to then create online abuse on the reverse either. It's not designed for that. It's going to be a generalized stream when the ladies do drop in. That we're going to talk about all manner of facets of online abuse, how it starts, the vulnerabilities of people when they're going online, the triggerability of people, the words, the obligations. There's so many different angles. So it's certainly not about just aiming it at one individual. There's been many casualties, as we've known, when it comes to online abuse. One thing I will say is, hello, everybody. Thank you very much for jumping on. I am humbled, really humbled. And I can't believe the response this has got, to be fair. One, the talking point, what it means to a lot of people who are probably tuning in right now. And yes, hello everyone. Hi there, Katie. Hi. It means a lot to so many different people, many people that I know, I love, and I've supported rigorously, vigorously within YouTube and in the background. I've seen it happen to countless people. It has happened to me. What happened to Amber's alerts is an alert, in a sense. We've got to keep it fair and even, that there are two sides, there are multiple sides to all the stories. So this is why that this stream is not about a direct attack against a YouTuber per se. Everyone knows what's been said. Everyone knows. Most people will have the theories as to why. And I'm sure, I'm not about to tell anyone that they're wrong. What I will say is online abuse is not right. It's non-productive for the individual who does it, as well as the individual who receives it. And when I look through some of the comment section, I'm looking at the amount of different YouTubers, whether they be big or small here, that have been affected by it, whether it be by this individual or many other individuals. This is why this talking point for me is so bigger than this channel or any other channel. And one last thing I will say before I jump into the comment section, and thank you very much again for everyone who's jumped on. The massive support of YouTubers, people on social media, whether they be big or small. The small ones are just as important, if not more important, because we're all people, we've all got an opinion, and we can all be really hurt by some of the things that are done, and psychologically it can imprint us all. Me having 20,000.5 subs doesn't mean I am not susceptible to online abuse. So someone who has got 10 subs has got just as much vulnerability, if not more so. And there's other ramifications with that as well. It's a fascinating subject. I could go on for frigging hours. I'm still waiting for the ladies to jump in. I have given them an invite. Let me just see if I've got any kind of correspondence on my phone. Not as of yet. So I'm hoping they're just going to take the invite, which I have give, yeah, and they will jump in. So before I go to comments, thank you very much for jumping on. Big, massive thank you to Great Brit Modder on here tonight. Man, you've got your job cut out for you this evening, sir. I hope you've got your referee top and whistle, which does look a lot like Newcastle colours, doesn't it? So you're going to need it tonight, mate. I hope it's a nice, fair chat, because we're going to try and cover this fairly. We don't want no aggression. We don't want no one being unduly attacked, which will, under the definition, online abuse, prove the whole point. So I'm hoping we can have a channel, a space where people can feel comfortable and be able to engage, and hopefully meet and talk to the ladies at some point as well. So without further ado, thank you for jumping on. This is Red Pill Phil.
Red Pill Phil. Red Pill Phil. Red Pill Phil. Red Pill Phil. Phil.
Okay. Yes. Amber, get your face washed quickly. Yeah, so, like I say, I just hope that people will engage decently. There's probably, with anything else, there's probably been a lot of water that's passed under a big bridge. I'm not about to get in there and start throwing mud at any individual here. And that's not what this stream is about. We've got to maintain the fact that we are adults. We're supposed to be respectful. And as my mother used to say, if you can't say nothing nice, then best not to say anything, you know? So I'm hoping this chat will be respectful and considerate and allow people to have their opinions put out there. But anyone who puts their opinion out, freedom of speech, but be considered and be respectful. So I'm hoping it'll be one of them chats. I will say this before the ladies come in. I personally wanted to do this offline, this little interview, for many reasons. Sometimes the how volatile chats can be was a major contributing factor for me making that decision, because sometimes chats can just go a little bit off the beaten track, and it can be very disruptive to any interview. So I thought at the time, you know, it might be a good idea just to do it offline, and that way I could edit it and, you know, put some overlays on it and then repost it back up. But the one thing I was very mindful of is how anticipated this chat was, how much a lot of people were looking forward to the live. So then I felt in some ways by me doing that, even though I was doing it for the right reasons, I may be kind of neglecting people having that opportunity. So I'm giving people that opportunity. So I'm hoping with the comment section that everyone will be respectful. And fundamentally, I hope that I don't regret having made that decision to go live. And I really mean that. And I mean that in the most respectful way to all parties. Everyone's invited on this stream. So with that, I do believe, oh, she's just dropped off. She's just dropped off. She was on and then she drops off. So let's see what we've got. Yeah, there always is. There always is. Yes, everyone. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello. If we could just keep things civil. It's just looking very frothy already. And Well, it's where are you, Amber? You come in and then pops out. Is it a signal issue? Is it my end? I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I mean, that's the bottom line. Whatever brought it to that event happened. And that's the thing that we've got to remember here is we can sit in defense of whatever we want. And if we have the two sides story theory, then no doubt people will be upset with other things that have been done. And I can duly respect that. What I don't like to see personally, and nobody does, is children or anyone being verbally violated online with whatever disagreements, whatever fallouts, to take it then online. Yes, and I do believe we've got the ladies in the house. So here we go. We're going to go first to Amber. Hopefully she's in.
Hey.
Yes, you're in.
Sorry, there was like a bit of confusion with the times. Like I'm so glad. I was about to jump in the shower because I thought I had another hour. So I'm glad I caught you, is all I can say.
Bless you. Thank you for taking the time out. I know this. The beauty is it's a bittersweet moment, Amber, because it's the transatlantic stream. Mm-hmm. And I'm so looking forward to it. And it's the first time we've properly spoke. We've had little chats in the background on our chat room. But we know that there's going to be ultimate timing complications. And there's been people in Ireland, people in Australia, and all different time zones and what it represents to them. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. But I'm just glad I'm here. So
yes, indeed.
I caught you. And thank you. I mean, I can't thank you enough. It's it's been a lot, it's definitely been a lot, and I'm just grateful for your voice. I really am. And I'm just looking in the chat right now, and it's just disheartening to see some make excuses for this, because to me, like, it doesn't matter what went on with adults. An 8-year-old didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve to be brought into it whatsoever. And it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, this was all over a heart like, that she didn't like that I made. It was a heart like. And I can't even like describe, the emotions that I felt that day. It wasn't the first, this woman, she's dragged me, she's dragged several others. And, I just kind of learned to ignore it when she was dragging myself. But whenever I was getting notified that she was saying these things about my child and making these threats, it holds you emotionally hostage is what it does. It was a lot of fear and just a lot of anxiety that day that I don't think anybody should ever have to go through, ever.
Listening to it, I must admit, it was shocking to listen to. But at the same time, I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone. It's a delivery that I've never heard so aggressively put online. There must have been an element of being tormented with that. Now, same again, I'm not about to jump in and who's to blame, who's not to blame, because it's beyond that. It's about, let's all just stop this. You know what I mean? Like I said before, the catalyst was the fact that not so much the individual at this point, but at what point are we going to stop and look at what online abuse represents? Is this not a signifying moment? Is this not something that's going to make all people just reconsider your actions? Reconsider what your platforms are about. And if you've got any due arguments, is there a way of presenting it that is then not recreating online abuse again?
Yeah, there's definitely a line. You know what I mean? There were several lines that were crossed in this situation, and I agree. It's just, the things that I've seen that have gone on in this community, I've seen some before this, I mean, there was a lot of disgusting things that I've seen, and threats and whatnot. And it's yeah, it's bad. It is. It's
What I've
bad.
noticed, I mean, how long have you been in the YouTube community, Amber? If you don't mind me asking.
I came in, like I said, this was all based around, it was a murder case
Yeah,
that I was, that I got emotionally invested in, and
yeah,
obviously several others did, and I think it was 2 years, and when I came on, I was just wanting to speak up for the victims in that family. I felt like there was just creators that were, bashing the victims, so to speak, and I felt like I felt strongly about that. And but it's funny, it's not been about the actual reasons I came on. It's not been about the case in a very long time. It's just been the drama that has been the drama and the abuse that has been going around circling. That do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's the conversations about the case stopped a long time ago.
well, yeah, well, this is the crazy thing, and it will bring that out of anybody. And ultimately, the people that will say two sides to the story, they will have to concede that the same thing with them as well. When there becomes a little bit of an online rub-off, when you've got the tool that is there and you've got the facility to use it, and someone else just give you a low blow or what you interpret as a low blow, it's very conceivable that anyone is then going to go out and give some kind of retribution, some kind of, I've got to put it right. And I've probably been guilty of that myself. I mean, not into the realms of abuse, but what I'm saying is I can emotionally react on a post, and I have done in the past,
Hmm.
which is a very dangerous thing when you have got the obligation of being online. So if something has upset me, or maybe a comment that's upset me, real time, a comment may come up now that really winds me up. I've got to be very wary that my emotions don't override my presentation.
Yeah.
And I've seen it with so many YouTubers, Amber, and it's not taking sides here at all, 'cause it's a sorry event, what's happened. But because of we're all human,
Yeah.
our channels do become that vessel to give a bit of a punch back at times. And it's an awful scenario that what you're saying is the irony and the contradiction of it all is that when you've set up for the sole purpose of a case, a murder case of that, I remember the case that you're talking about, it's horrible.
Yeah.
The abuse would stem from that story itself. It's like hypocrisy defined, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Well, that was, yeah, I mean, that's another crazy thing is, I mean, the particular person that did this to my child, she's doing live streams, speaking up for for the kids and the victims, but yet you're victimizing my child. How that it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, did Ginger make it? Are you here, Ginger?
Yes, I'm going to bring Ginger in. I
Oh,
just wanted
okay.
to
I
get a
didn't
little
know.
chat with
I,
yourself.
I
I'm sorry. Ginger's politely
yeah,
sat in the background, and I've kept her on mute as well. So I'm going to bring her in right now. Just one last thing I would
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
to, at least
Oh,
this Norman has asked. Red Pill Phil, ask Amber how she behaved to an autistic child and egged on death of a vulnerable adult. Is that something?
are you talking about that's okay, he's talking about how this particular person, yeah, this wasn't the first group of kids that she, did this to. There was she made several remarks about people's autistic children, and and yeah, and you guys have heard the clip. I mean, egging people on that, that are suicidal, kind of egging them on. I mean, she's crossed the line a lot.
No,
And what I wanted to say about you know, how you say, like, we're responsible, for our emotions and how we deliver. I mean, my God, whenever this was happening, Yeah, it's taken everything in my power just to stay calm and collective, you know? So yeah, you gotta kinda you have to reel it in at times, you know? It's been really
Without a
hard.
doubt.
But yeah,
Because,
but this go ahead.
well, the other thing to it as well is, and I've seen it happen, and I've seen it happen in this case, is if you don't somehow recalibrate your emotions over this, it can take you over and
Yes.
it can make you act in a way that is not you in a sense.
Yeah, I mean,
It
this
takes
made
the
me
worst
feel
out of you.
yeah, I mean, I can honestly say that this brought out rage in me that I didn't know I had, you know, and I guess that's what our kids do, you know, they bring out emotions that we never knew that we had. I've never I mean, if I'm being honest, it's the most rage I've ever felt in my life, you know? I mean, of course, somebody's talking about like, you know, somebody's talking about your child in that manner and, you know, the threats and the you know, the sexualizing of it. I can't even explain how violating it felt. So, you know, like anybody like that's in the chat that's making excuses for that, all I can say is shame on you because there's no excuse for it.
There's
None.
no mitigation for that kind of action.
No.
And same again, the major point I was trying to make from an outsider's point of view is from a content maker's perspective, looking at that, that was unpleasant from a content maker, position, because as a content maker, I know I've got a duty for what I put out and the message I put out. And sometimes I ultimately get it wrong because I'm a human, and sometimes emotion might be under the lining in some of the content as well. But being malicious is certainly not one of them. And if there's a time where I've got a feeling that my emotions are going to go to that level, then I press pause. I go leave the stream for a minute, or or better still, rather, I decide that on that day that I feel that way, I'm not going to go anywhere near the internet
Yeah, you
for my
know.
sake and for everyone else's sake, because ultimately, yeah, an 8-year-old, certainly, and whoever else has been over the time with multiple YouTubers, the point that's even bigger is how it has upset so many different people.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, and you know, I can and then there's a silver lining in that, I have to say, because it actually brought together a lot of people that you know, there's some people that, you know, I have been in tiffs with all year just with different opinions, nothing like this, you know, but you know, we've put our differences aside and you know, said that this is not okay, you know.
yeah.
So it has. It's brought a lot of people together and it's made a lot of people speak up. You know, I've actually become friends with some different people through this experience. Because, you know, they've spoken up and said that this was not okay. And
It's a shared truth, Amber.
yeah.
You know that no matter what, I mean, we probably covered so many different things, totally different things, as opposed to me being a YouTuber, you and Ginger, who's going to come on shortly. But this is a shared truth. So no matter, I can cover politics tomorrow, but when it comes to this, I'll share the truth with probably everyone on here. When it comes to my politics, we might not all align. When it comes to certain other issues, we might not align and we might just take our own positions on that. But this is a fundamental shared truth, which, like yourself, when I was asking you about if you could get some channel logos for me, because I had
Mhm.
an idea in regards to just people on social media who are against this, who would like to, if they can't speak out, at least show their channel logo. I was shocked on how many people just solely said, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't even know what you cover, but you're talking about this, so yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of them topics that everyone has got a vested interest in.
Yeah. Yeah. And hey, I just want to say this because I'm noticing in the chat, Norman has been cloned. I don't know if you have mods, but Norman has been cloned by somebody, and that's why they're making all these remarks. One of them says Amber's just as bad as Bam. How? What have I done? And that's what I want to know. What I gave a heart like. That's what I'm guilty of. But anyway, I'm just noticing some of the things in the chat. Norman has definitely been cloned.
I mean, same again, this is what is
It's crazy.
probably unfortunate, that when we're trying to talk about a subject properly, and we've not done this just to literally demonize anyone and create, same again, the reverse online abuse.
Right.
But we've got to appreciate that some of these comments here, with the tone in which they're displaying, it's saying a lot, bearing in mind that the very topic is online abuse. So I can't ultimately tell people what to say and how to act.
Yeah.
Their words are doing it for themselves. And if any of my people on my channel are looking at this, unbiasedly, they'll be seeing themselves, not only what frustration is being created in the channel, but the level of animosity which goes against the topic of online abuse. So
Yeah.
they're digging their own grave by coming in like this, because I'm
You
not
are.
doing green to come in on them or the YouTuber or anyone else who has created this, because this problem is too big for that. It's happened to too many people and
Yeah.
too many celebrities as well, Amber. It's a major issue we're talking about here.
Yeah, it really is. And so it's yeah, it is disheartening to see some of these, people trying to troll and trying to, you know, I see several clones in here. Like, what are you trying to do? I mean, we're trying to speak about something that's serious, what are you trying to get out of this by doing that? I don't get it. I mean, to me, like I said, we could talk about several things with online abuse, but when it comes to this was done to a child. What argument? Why are you trying to defend that? Like, don't really understand it.
You can class, say, some form of mitigation for any outburst. There's always a reason why it happened, and most people will accept that it didn't come from just 0 to 100. There must have been an element of agitation there. I can get that, but it's the unfiltered way in which it come out, and it was the way it was designed to hurt.
Yeah.
It's all right being angry, and it's all right me just coming out with a few choice words that may upset you because I'm angry. It's when I come out to violate you verbally, and knowing that these words are going to get under your skin and they're going to hurt you. And
Exactly.
then knowing that, to pump a little bit of something underneath it, that was not nice to see. And whoever is on this stream, who is a supporter, then they've got to concede that that was bang out of order. So if we can get to that shared truth, then we may be able to get beyond that and talk about online abuse generally without castigating any YouTuber. And this is what I see about some of this now. It gets very unintellectual and it gets very low grade very quickly, what I find.
Yeah.
As well, Amber. People lose the shit very quickly on this, and they don't think, and they tend to keyboard words before they actually think, and everything seems to be a fight and pulling someone down. And I find it ugly when we talk adults.
Absolutely. I mean, people feel like they're 10 feet tall behind a keyboard, and bulletproof, I guess, I guess that was one of the most disheartening things too, was just the words that were said after the attack, to say that, you're proud of what you did. If you knew that it hurt me that bad, you would have done it sooner. I don't know. I can't wrap my mind around that, but yeah, it was done. It was done. I mean, like I said, just this particular instance, and we can compare this to, several other things, but she had been trying to get at me for months with dragging me. And I think she knew if she brought my daughter up, that was going to get a response. And it did, because I can't, and then I'm put in this position where, I don't really it was hard. It's not like I love that the audio, of course I had to think about this is going to be put out again. And what is that going to, I don't want her to hear it one day, but at the same time, it had to be talked about. There was no way I was just going to let it go. You know what I'm saying? So, but the bottom line is that I shouldn't have been put in that position to begin with. There's a way to settle things that it doesn't have to be like this. I mean, let's just take this whole thing. This was over a comment and a heart like. If she would have contacted me, personally, emailed me, whatever, and said, hey, I don't like this comment, can you get it off your page? Okay. But yeah, but it just didn't have to. In the amount of time, I mean, we're talking 8 hours this went on, 8 hours of saying, it's open season on your kid. I mean, everybody's heard it. And I've not had, and this whole experience, it's by far the worst that I've seen. So anyway, I see Ginger's here. Ginger, you want to chime in?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hello, Ginger. I'm sorry. Thank you for being so patient there.
No problem at all. Actually, I'm trying to mute my mic in between because, we've had that F4 tornado and I'm kind of jerry-rigged here at the moment. If I get too far away from our router, I'll drop signal. So I may kind of drop in and out. I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything you've done to bring some awareness on this. I'm noticing someone in the chat that's saying that you're being played from all sides, Phil. How are there?
How?
What sides
lying,
are
Sharon?
there when it comes to child abuse? We're not talking about any other issues, no personal drama, no conflict. This is simply about child abuse. How are there more than one sides to that?
And how am I lying? How am I lying? I never did anything to this woman. Nothing. The only thing. This is insane.
All it really shows me is that it shows the state of, we can't really talk about some subjects because they're too contentious. If you scrape away what's happened to either of you ladies, because I know things have been done to you as well, Ginger, and ultimately there may be times when you've done things yourself that you go, well, I wish I wouldn't have done that in retaliation to whatever's happened, because I know them situations arise. It's just unfortunate again that I'm going to keep bringing it back to this point to try and bring a bit of common sense and a bit of maturity to this chat room. Abuse has gone on here. If we can't talk about a subject about online abuse without creating animosity, which is defined as abuse with the tone that is being displayed now, it doesn't bother me. I'm sat here kind of in disbelief. In terms of what you were saying, Ginger, about being played from all sides, I mean, I'm listening to everyone. I know ultimately that things would have been done to what is perceived as the people that have done it to you. So I can only say, right, I can acknowledge that. But at the same time, we have got to stop short and go, well, how much mitigation do you give someone who's just done that in regards to what is a hearted comment? Are we going to use all this mitigation and go, well, that means that when that happened, let's wipe the slate clean? Surely it can't work like that. How many other people were triggered by that event online?
Several.
How many other people then went out and then started doing other things which can be constituted as online abuse? So the ramifications of that one act is a joke. But same again, over the 2-3 years, because I could go back and look at all the posts. But it's only going to bring me back to the same point. Can we not talk about this without this? I mean, are these grown adults here or what?
You would think. I mean,
Phil, you've heard the audio. Everybody's heard the audio. It wasn't just us that brought that to this platform. They brought it to the platform by participating in that stream.
Solange, I can't believe you right now. I'm sorry. I have to, she was there. Solange, you were the one that made that it was a good idea to make a Dropbox of pictures of my child and put it on a community post. So everybody, that was your idea. What is there? What do
She
you
has
have
me
to say?
blocked.
I can
I,
see her. I
I
mean,
can't
she
see
says
her.
she actually wants to come up, which I find actually offensive because honestly, the only thing that I feel you should be saying to me is sorry. I'm sorry, Solange, but what possible excuse do you have to make for this?
Fair.
But
I'm,
Solange has her own platform. She has a channel. She has her
no,
voice, and she's used that. That is so obvious because she participated in that stream.
Exactly. You participate. And Solange, I didn't, I actually didn't speak about you as much. I kind of thought maybe you would have done the right thing, but every time I turned around, I don't know. I honestly, it brings out a lot of like rage in me because this was different. This isn't the same as two adults squabbling. You guys went at my child for 8 hours. Period. I just don't know what
I
I
can't
don't know. It's disheartening
can't
to see people make
The can't
excuses for
But
it.
I will say this as well. I'm not saying from any of you ladies, but there has been an element of harassment onto this lady as well. And I'm not saying she's deserved it or she's gone out. I don't know. This is where it kind of gets to the point where we've all got to somehow draw ourselves back from what it's caused and the emotional feeling behind this, because it's it's getting to a point, excuse me, where it's that charged that rational discussion is becoming a bit of a commodity with it all. Do you understand what I mean? And I don't mean that in disrespect to anyone on here, because I am personally not taking sides. But any abuse to any individual, particularly a child, is reprehensible.
Yeah, I mean, I see like Sharon, are you kidding me? Do you not understand that the point is it doesn't matter how much two adults squabbled on the internet. Bringing a kid in like that is not appropriate. Like, how is that going over your head? I don't understand that. It doesn't matter how many squabbles me and Solange have been in. This crossed the line. It crossed the line. Period. I mean, I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying here, Ginger? Like,
No,
I,
I
I just
absolutely see. And you have someone, Sharon, am I speaking down to you? Do you realize you just said to Amber, well, you did it first?
what did I
I
do
mean, how
first?
old Phil has a valid point here. At what point is too far going too far? When you go for
That's it.
somebody's children, that is going too far.
Period. There is just there's no
Solange, you've had a
excuse.
month. You used your channel to harass us, to dox my first, middle, and my last initials in your channel name. So what is so important that you have to say now that you haven't been saying on your own channel for the past month? And it wasn't, I'm sorry, to Amber.
And this is what kills me. And this goes back to YouTube. So, the day of that stream, I think I reported it 100 times. And it should have been, to me, when you report something for child abuse, I think it should be shut down immediately. But then I make a video, and all day that day, you guys yelling at me, screaming at me, get up here, Amber, get up here, come and defend your kid, get up here. Well, I defend my kid, and I speak my voice on my own channel, and then you strike me for privacy. Like, and all I did was play your words. So if you didn't think you did anything wrong, why did you strike me? I mean, but I mean, to me, that's just the audacity of YouTube to say, to not look into this. And these two women threatened and violated my privacy in the worst
Right.
way. Yet I get a strike for defending myself and playing it. That's just, that's gold. But, I don't see what in the world. I mean, like I said, I don't know how this is going over your head, but the point is that it went too far. This crossed the line. It seemed, I don't know what excuse you can make for it. It doesn't matter how many fights being, I mean, my kids shouldn't have been brought into it, period.
Listen, I'm not going to use Phil's channel to do this tit for tat and embarrass
A witch
us on
hunt?
his channel. But I
Yeah.
tell you what, I'm going to have a live on Monday, and whoever wants to come on there onto my channel and have their say, you will have your opportunity. You will be unblocked. So, Sharon, if you have something you want to say to me, you can confront me on my channel.
What are you trying to gain out of this, Sharon? Okay, is this really so? Sharon, let me ask you, do you think that my 8-year-old deserved that day? Just answer that question. Do you think that she deserved that? You know, I don't care what you say I did a year ago to, you know, what fight I got in with who. Did my 8-year-old deserve that?
I don't. It's a redundant question.
Yeah.
Abuse doesn't need. See, this is what really is slightly annoying. When we all know that with social media, we've got the power. We've got the power to enlighten, empower, inspire people. And I listen to this, and this is the opposite. And I'm not talking about you ladies, because we have come on specifically to talk about online abuse. It's just the areas in which that it's going, because people don't want to just sit and watch. And remember, ladies, when I said to you that this might be a good idea to do this offline, and we could literally sit about this and talk
Yeah, I can
about
see why.
You're
now.
right. I can
And I
see
can see
exactly
why.
why.
Yeah,
because
I can totally
don't
see
need
why. Because you have people that are bombarding this with, I mean, you know, I see somebody saying, oh, a newborn baby didn't deserve abuse either. So let me get this right. My comment on my channel that said, this looks like the work of Gump's granny, in my heart, like, that's somehow a swipe at a newborn baby. Mind you, I didn't even realize the comment was about, implied anything about her. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't, you know, I can totally see why you didn't want to do this, Phil, like this, because this is all of their, it's all the trolls trying to bombard with.
Yeah, we'll carry on
With past dramas. They're trying to bring up past dramas, and that would be one thing if this stream was about that, but it's not about that.
I mean, the one thing I will say is, I know how easy it is for people to misconstrue the hearted comment. And it's very easy for you to heart something, and there might be something that someone might interpret something else in it. So that means that you're then legible for their interpretation rather than your own interpretation. And it's a minefield. And if someone's having a little bit of banter and you heart that, that means that you're being just as whatever as they are. And if, going back to this initial point, if they're trying to say that that's 100% mitigation for what then followed, really, I've had people give it me because I've hearted comments, and I would not expect anyone to go on a live and do that to me over a hearted comment.
Exactly. That's the bottom line. It could have
feels
been dealt
like
with
hate.
differently. And nobody allowed a witch hunt on Bam. These are words that she said. You know, how people have responded to it, that's you know, but did you think I was not going to speak up and defend myself and defend my child on this?
That's
You
just
know?
it, though. They don't allow you to. They want to control, and I hate this term, but they want to control the narrative. And so it's when the other people begin to speak out that they start cloning channels, they start cloning subs, they start going after supporters in your family. I mean,
I'm just
enough is
disgusted.
enough. The line is drawn at children and family. It's completely off limits.
Right. I don't understand how that point is being lost. The point that Phil is making, that we're making, this went too far. It went too far. And why you guys are trying to bring up little things to make excuses for it. Okay, let me ask you this. So if you knew, if my daughter was standing right there that day and heard every single word of that, how would you feel about it? So or let's say this, if you saw a kid be verbally abused in that manner, would you make excuses for it? If you saw a child get beaten, would you make excuses for it? Because to me, that's the equivalent. making excuses for this,
Let's
that's
look
the
at it.
equivalent.
And you're totally right, Amber. And it's understandable why this is personal to you because it's your kid, but everyone's got to look at that and go, well, this could be my kid as well. But I look at it another way. You're seeing the veracity of what come at you over what is conceived a hearted comment, right? And there might be more behind that, but that's initially what started that off. So that's fair enough. It was very ferocious. Imagine if you had actually physically done that to this individual's child,
Right.
never mind the hearted comment. Imagine how ferocious the kickback would be then. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, that's
That's
the best
exactly
way I
right.
can put it.
Until some of your subscribers are asking for an update, some are coming in late and they don't know what's going on. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't. But what I will do, thank you for mentioning that. I will. I just want to address this. I have a problem. Okay, Phil, what is your advice then to stop dragging lives that she does? Ignore them.
I mean,
You know, with me, I personally, I've been doing this 5 years. I first got called a Nazi. That was what really set my channel up because I thought I'm not being called a Nazi for speaking the truth. I then went on to being called an Uncle Tom. I've been called multiple names after that. I've had multiple people literally create content just by sitting and droning on about my videos and trying to unintellectually dissect them. And they're the most dullest things ever. I look at the view count on them and they're pretty non-existent, so that shouldn't really worry me. But ultimately, if I was to let any of it affect my mindset, the fact that anyone can redress anything of mine at any point, I would never get up out of bed in the morning. So what I do decide to do is stick by what I can do, stick on my positivity and my positive connections, and I make sure I post things that are not showing a vibration that is even on my radar. And that's why I don't do reactionary posts. I mean, I've done them in the past because I've had to learn like everyone else, but 5 years in, I'm watching all them people that have done reactionary posts. They've either been stressed out, turned to alcohol, they've turned to violence, or they tried to commit suicide. I know one YouTuber that on 2 separate occasions has tried to commit suicide, and my mother will back me up on that.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. Do whatever you do. I mean, with Ivor, you're a very talented, funny lady. Concentrate on what you do. Concentrate on shining, and don't worry about negativity in dark corners.
Well, see, I think it's hard, like, like I said, I mean, and I actually agree with you. Like when this woman particularly dragged me for months and months, I basically ignored it. But, when it's something like this, this stream that she took out on my child, you can't ignore that, that I couldn't ignore that. There was no way. I can't even describe the emotions that are going through me right now just because like I said, I'm going to keep bringing it back to the fact that I don't understand how in the world you guys are making excuses for it. It just doesn't matter what fights happened between adults. This should have never happened. This line should have never been crossed. And if you just look
at events, I mean, what I will say is someone's putting allegations on Ivor. I've seen some of Ivor's posts, and I can't ultimately say what was going on in her mind, but they're the posts of someone that's being agitated. And that's the very thing that I'm talking about. And this is the very thing that the other side will claim that the reason why they're doing it. So from my position as someone stood on the outside, I'm seeing a sorry event that's gone way out of proportion that does create a backdraft with other smaller YouTubers. So as much as I can't mitigate everything Ivor does, good or bad, what I will say, she's a very funny individual that does create very good content. So I can then see how things have been taken personally. Things have got to all of us because they can get to all of us. This is a very serious business when you've got people that can post and get really personal on you. But same again, concentrate on you shining as an individual and try and overlook that. But I totally agree with your point, Amber. When someone's going straight in, full on 100% with a target above your kid, delivering it like that, at the same time, I've got to ultimately say, I didn't like what was going through the mindset of that person when they done that. And that is someone I would love to talk to if she would want to talk. And I'm on about respectfully and decently. And I would love to say, to hear anyone deliver like that, they're in a bad place. Anyone. It'd have to be. If I'd done a stream and talked to you ladies like that, I'm in a bad place. I don't expect all my subbers then to back me up on why I've done it and make it all right that I've done it. I would only expect one of them to go, Phil, you were bang out of order. You were in
There
a
you go. That's exactly right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
It's holding each other accountable. And that's exactly, you know, we've been accused of someone within our supporters, you know, abusing this person or abusing that person. First of all, I don't associate with people who do that. I don't associate with people anymore. For that momentary lapse in my judgment that I associated with them, I no longer do that. So I don't associate with people who abuse other people.
this is just, yeah. I mean, Solange, I can't even tell you what I'm feeling right now. I just don't even know what in the world you want to say in fairness. To me, this went too far. Period. You know,
ladies.
I mean,
you've not wanted to say anything to me. Now you want to come up.
Well, I mean, someone made the point before. I don't just bring people in, and the one thing I'm not going to do is this. If this was to happen and bring people in, just like I've made the point about this, probably wasn't the best idea to have this one-on-three chat out online with this discombobulated chat room the way it is. It certainly wouldn't work with someone that's going to come in geared up on defending their honour. They've no need to come in and be like that and particularly disrespect my chat as well. What I will say is I've got no problem in being respectful on all sides and saying to people that this is online abuse. It doesn't really matter. I'm almost certain that somewhere down the line, both sets have got some form of abuse. Now, not to say that that's come directly from you two, but there will be affiliates that will be defending on whatever angle. And that's happened even on this side. The one thing I will say, ladies, going back again, every genre that I have covered on YouTube has got this. So don't think you're alone in this. Don't think it's your community. I'm talking to Dolly Daydream, who's more in the spiritual community, a YouTuber from up the road. She's going through exactly the same thing. I've also got a lovely lady, Children's Matter.news, Katie Jane Swallow. She covers slightly different things to what I cover, exactly the same thing there. I could go on and on with the different echo chambers and the negativity that is contained within them. You know what I mean? It's hard to remain positive. And that is just the most negative outburst you could get of the negative energy of what we're all feeling now, where it's transpired into someone's daughter.
I just honestly, I just can't even believe what I'm seeing. I mean, Sharon, how is he being duped? He heard the audio. He has spoken with me and Ginger in depth about this community. What in the world are you even talking about? This is
I'm going to be, because I'm staying in the middle here. Although I agree with any abuse to anyone, I mean, you've both heard the way of speaking it. I'm hardly saying I'm all on your side. I'm standing up for abuse on all sides.
That's right. And you made that clear in the video that your recent upload where you said this isn't about, you know, even putting blame on a specific hater because it is so widespread. But because of this particular situation, there were two primary creators involved on that stream. There's no he's not being duped. He has taken time to properly do his own research. The only thing he's done with us is interview us. It's not
Yeah.
a one-sided thing. It's that he is of sound mind and has his own opinion.
Thank
I know
you,
what I
Saul.
heard. No, well, thank you both ladies, but I know what I heard. And it doesn't matter about the backstory. I'm quite aware of some of the backstory, and I've been informed on some of the backstory that's alleged on the other side as well. So that's why I'm coming from this position and still saying the abuse of an 8-year-old child can't mitigate that, can't justify that. So if that's all you're going to come with, you're going to have to try harder than that. I'm
And
not seeing one of them actually come out and say, well, you know what, I'm one bang out of order there. But, and then follow it with something, and then at least I'll come to the table. But if you're just going to say you're being duped, let me off. That's not a classy way of dealing with this at all.
No,
not at all.
not
And
at all.
they're saying that you can't just take bits and bobs of it, that her grandchild, something offensive was said. Well, if you haven't noticed that Gump's granny account, that all of this, revolved around that Heartlike, it has been around since what, 2009 or 2011. It had nothing to do with that.
The point
Amber's
is, I
not
had no
had
clue.
any
Yeah.
issues with Bam. Bam went for Amber because it was a personal thing to do with me. So she went for Amber. It had nothing at all to do with her grandson. No one said anything about her grandson.
Nobody. And the thing is, that's what irritates me too, is when the excuses come, it's always, but they did this and they did that and that. No, you cannot go back in time and see one thing that I have done to this woman. Not one. Not one.
You see, play that game anyway.
Except for this Heartlike. I didn't even write the comment. It's just and
no, I get you, Amber, and I get your passion with this. The funny thing is, though, if you do play that game of trying to mitigate, you're never accountable. And that I can, like I say, I can verbally give it you two guys now and mitigate it. You know what? I just had an argument with my missus. You know what? I just tripped up. You know what? Someone's just robbed whatever off me. That's the excuse. When in reality, all I need to do is look in the mirror and go, whatever was going on, whatever they said to me, I've got a responsibility on what I give back. If I'm mad, I might be mad, but I need to maybe take some time, slow down, compose myself, then deliver something. The irony is, we're not talking about someone who's not in command of the vocabulary. We're talking about someone who is very articulate and very eloquent, very in command of their own vocabulary here. So this person's not someone who hasn't got a wide vocabulary base in which to use from.
You're absolutely right. She knows exactly what she was doing. She is an educated person. And Anne of Old Bog Road is making valid points. She's sitting here mentioning everybody's children that they have attacked. Summer's child, my child, Amber's child, Donkey's kids.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on and on. They talked about my infertility. They talked about my son's adoption and his private adoption details on a live stream. They called my autistic son and my moderators who have some disabled children retards. So this isn't the first time. And at some point, and enough is enough.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I've got this video up here. I don't know whether you're aware of it, but TED Talks. It's Ashley Judd. And this was something, just because I was looking up online abuse, it was a video that popped up. I haven't got all of it. It's only a couple of clips that I've actually extracted from it. But this is one. There's a little bit of profanity in it. I speak sometimes a little bit of French every now and then, but I'm trying to keep it to a minimum, particularly on this chat. But she does it with a point in mind. So I just want you to listen to a little bit of this, and then we'll kind of go back to the video and see if anything, it sparks any points that you want to bring up.
Ashley Judd, stupid fucking slut. You can't sue someone for calling them a cunt. If you can't handle the internet, fuck off, whore. I wish Ashley Judd would die a horrible death. She is the absolute worst. Ashley Judd, you're the reason women shouldn't vote. Twisted is such a bad movie, I don't even want to rape it. Whatever you do, don't tell Ashley Judd she'll die alone with a dried out vagina. If I had to fuck an older woman, oh my God.
Are you still there, guys?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of froze there. But basically, she was just going outlaying all the abuse over the years, I guess, that she's had, the different comments. And what she was basically saying is you're supposed to just take that. No one's really designed to take that. So how do you act as a human being? I mean, she's a celebrity, high profile, but it still hurts. And this is where it then supersedes any individual here. It supersedes any individual account if we're going to go there, because this point is enormous. It goes on a warehouse scale all over the world. So if people in this chat are going to keep going this two sides to every story, I just don't get what we're talking about. This is a real life issue that does create sorrow with people, and even their reaction to this, even if the feeling I'm being played on all sides, I'm still allowing the topic of online abuse to become a legible topic, on a topic that a lot of YouTubers on here will have been on the butt end of. Hence, a lot of people appreciating the way I have approached this subject and the way I was willing to talk about it. So I don't understand the logic. It's like almost there's two sides to every story, Phil, so don't do this stream. Just leave it.
You don't want him to do it because you just don't want the truth to be put out there again. You know, I mean, that's my feeling on it. You know, that it's funny. They haven't wanted to speak up at all until you decided to do a stream. Now they all want to bombard with all of this stuff. And like I said, I mean, if you guys want to talk about all the tit for tat that we've done over the past whatever, you know, but the bottom line is this went too far. This woman has gone too far. She's gone too far on several occasions. And you know, I'm going to keep saying this. The fact that you guys are making any excuse at all for what was done to my child, that's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm
Ginger, do you want to say something?
Yeah, they took my mic on my PC, but it's going to take more than that to silence me because I have a cell phone. So it's going to take more than taking my microphone to shut me up.
who
This is
took your
unreal.
microphone? What do you mean?
They took they came in through one of my portals and took my mic on my PC.
So like somebody really? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, does sound very.
I mean, why do y'all want us to not talk about this? Like I said, I just want to know a simple answer to a question. Did my daughter deserve this? Did she deserve it?
No one does. And to be fair, I'd be the first to defend this individual if it turned out that one of her kids had that done by someone live on YouTube in the manner that she delivered it. I'd be the first to stand and go, well, that's wrong. Seriously, I would. So this ain't about let's all just jump on one individual here. If there's someone who's got a physical impairment, then if he's then pointing that out online and using that as a tool to beat them with, I would be standing up and going, that's bang out of order. You're relying on intellects. You don't then go low grade and start pulling someone down because of the looks. I don't look beautiful, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that'll be stood there going, oh, look at his head, look at that, look at this. I don't care. But ultimately, if you're going to do that, it shows more about you than it does me. So why should I be bothered about that? But unfortunately, we are living in the realms where people are vulnerable. And people have already got, I mean, look at it this way. This is why this chat is too intellectual for these guys, and I'm not going to go low grade. When
Thank you.
when you look,
Hallelujah.
when you look at
Hallelujah.
the vulnerabilities of people, when anyone goes online, people who come here now, they could have gone through multiple negative things in their life: abuse, physical, sexual. You know, be survivors. I've covered grooming, I've covered rape. I mean, the actual logo I've got in the corner there, Justice for Our Girls, that's predominantly a girl called Ellie Reynolds who was groomed. And she's got the paperwork from professionals to say that she's a product of being groomed and trafficked in England. But yet the authorities don't want to acknowledge that, and they've been trying to bury the story ever since. Now, ever since she's been coming out, the abuse that she's had to deal with online, and she's a survivor. She's a survivor of being trafficked. So this is why I don't get the logic in this. Talking point is far too big for little people getting upset. I'm sorry. Because if they can't see the bigger, broader picture here,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying exactly. Happy
No,
Clappy, Happy Clappy saying nothing was done to your child. A woman had enough of your When did I bully her? When? Show me. Because I never even spoke back when she was dragging me for months. Except for one live I did where I had my composure was just like it is right now. And I actually just asked her to leave me alone.
I mean, come on. We're not the
This
first
is
people.
crazy.
This has
Yeah.
been going on for years and years and years before we were ever even on this platform. So stop making excuses.
Well, let's look at it this way. I've never known a live that was so highly anticipated. Now, that doesn't make me excited. And I must say, I mean, it's horrible when you meet two lovely people, but under bad circumstances. And what I will say is that under different circumstances, right? I don't know any of this story. I'm sure Solange and Bam and the rest of them may be lovely people. I can't say anything, and I'm not prepared to castigate the character either. What I will say, all this is very unfortunate. So I'm not going to discredit any individual at this point. It's just unfortunate that we can't use this to go forward proactively. That's what really gets me when we're talking grown adults, ladies. You know what I mean? We can't talk about people who have been a victim of this, that have demised. The life has been ruined because of it. People have decided, the amount of people that have come on and said, I've not been online for months because of this issue. Now, this has got nothing to do with them, maybe. It might be something totally different. But this talking point brought something up that they wanted, that they resonated with. So why aren't we allowing that to move forward proactively to get something done rather than turning it into a, negative ping holiday dream? There's a lot of children.
I think what happens too, and I got to be honest with you, I'm just going to use this for example. There are several people, myself and several people in the chat. Let's just say that this particular creator, dragged and dragged and dragged, and they felt like they couldn't. Let me tell you why people feel like they can't speak up. Because this particular person does cross the line, and she does take it too far. Look at what she did to me in this instance. So people get afraid to fight back or speak up, and then they just feel like they can't say anything at all. And nobody should feel like that.
One thing you will say,
nobody should feel like they can't.
No, you're totally bang on right there, and I will agree with that on one premise. Not because of the individual, although I agree with that point, but in life itself. If you have a dominating character, someone who's got a lot of charisma but has a strong way of delivering it, ultimately not everyone in that circle is going to be as strong as that individual. So then you'll find the ones that are vulnerable, that they will gravitate underneath them people. And people have seen this from as young as school. That's why the ones that are outspoken are the ones that are most popular. But then you'll get the weaker ones that will then stick with the popular one because they're the ones that look trendy and everyone wants to maneuver around it. But ultimately, this is the interesting thing. It's very rare that you totally vulnerable person, it's very rare that that vulnerable person is totally aligned with everything that that strong character does. But then they've got a conundrum because they find that they're not strong enough to override that dominant person in that scenario. So then you end up with a situation where I can't really talk to that person because I'm not as strong as them. So they're just kind of running away with their charisma and what they want. So ultimately, at what point does that make you complicit in whatever happens with that individual when they go on and start doing things? Probably a long ride, but there was a meaning to that.
Yeah. Solange,
You know, and
Solange.
something positive did come from this because there were many that didn't put their morals to the side and turn a blind eye. They put
Yeah.
their issues and their personal issues with some of us to the side and said, you know, enough was enough. But not everyone has been able to do that. We couldn't take that and propel forward in a positive manner because, as you see by your chat being bombarded, yeah, it's putting it nicely, that it's not possible. And it's like you said, because there are always going to be those that congregate, or, you know, negativity attracts negativity. And there's always going to be those that congregate to where the worst of the drama is. And to me, this isn't drama, but some people have
Solange,
referred to it as that.
Solange, I'm not asking him to, I'm not wanting to drag anybody. Are you kidding me?
No, it
Solange,
might
this
be
is why,
something.
Solange, you can't come up. I've seen people try to work things out with you, and it gets nowhere. It gets
No, you
absolutely
can't
nowhere.
force a
And the
victim
fact,
to be put on the spot with an abuser. And this is exactly what she's
this
trying
is
to do,
exactly
is to
what you're
strong arm
doing.
Amber.
I mean, honestly, Solange, I'm freaking insulted because to me, you went too far, and now you're basically just trying to spit in my face with it. You know, like, you've not wanted to talk. Now all of a sudden you do. I'm not asking Phil to drag anybody. We're not dragging anybody. We're
Not
simply
at all.
having a discussion.
No, and we're keeping it as high level as we can. Keeping it above the emotion. And a
Yeah.
lot of people can't do it in this chat. That's it's too emotive for them. It's too personal, and there might be too much water that's gone under a bridge. I can get that, but you've still got to rise above it, whether you take it personally or not. Because that ultimately, how can you talk about the point if you bring in emotion into it? And I've learned too much on this YouTube journey to really, and I'm not levitating myself. There'll be days where I don't want to go anywhere near online. One,
Yeah.
because of online, and two, because, you know, I haven't got the energy, the bright energy it needs to go online. And that goes back to the obligation again. So if I've had a wrangling with a YouTuber that's done my head in, it's the last time I go on, because people will see it written all over my face, and there's every likelihood that someone might come in and might want to start a little bit of something. So what's the point? And then what do my subbers get out of it when I'm delivering something like that and then going, hi guys, love you all, even the pissing 80s, even though I've just dug out someone's 8-year-old kid? It's like,
Yeah.
it's redundant.
Yeah.
There's no kind of common sense in it all, you know?
There's not. There's
just
really not. It's, you know, and I mean, I know myself, there are days where I just don't even want to open the app, you know, because I mean, not recently, it hasn't been like that so much, but, you know, there's definitely been days in this journey that I just don't even want to open up the app to see what's going on, you know?
Well, that's a good thing then. Let's talk about that, Amber. And
Yeah.
you can your take as well, Ginger. When you felt like that, because this must have been a whirlwind, what
Yeah.
ultimately worked to get you in a good place and get you back on an even keel?
Yeah.
What What was it you done? What things was it?
I'm sorry, I missed your comment. I mean, I missed what you said, Phil. I'm sorry.
Yes, you say it again.
I'm just saying generally, you know, when you've had the low times online, and when rather than go online, what is it that's made you feel good, that's put you in a comfortable place to go back online? I
Um,
mean, your
you
family.
know, well, that's a tough one, you know. I mean, you know, it's you can easily say you can close the app and just not think about it, you know, and get back to your real life, what you're grateful for and what you have, which I do, you know. But when there's something going on, when you're being, you know, when you're being abused in a certain way, it's hard to get it out of your head, you know.
Yeah.
But I do think that, you know, logging off and taking that time just to get centered in your life, that's to me, you know, I just like I said, I close the app and I look at my daughter and try to get my mind somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, sure. What about you, Ginger?
I hate to say it, but you were breaking up when you asked your question. Can you ask it one more time?
Sure, yeah. I was just wondering, you know, when times are getting hard online, what puts you in a good place offline? What is it that you've utilized to get yourself back on an equilibrium?
Ah, well, that's a clear point for me is my family. I mean, I have a family of six and we lead an extremely busy life. And, you know, in addition to that, our downtime, we go hiking, we're nature lovers. We do a lot of things in the community to help the community as well. Despite what people think that, you know, we're on 24/7, we're not on 24/7. We do have lives, we have families, we have husbands, we have children. You know, a lot of us are have full-time jobs. But that's what centers me. That's what makes me happy is, you know, is family. And so when you take it to the level that you're attacking the people who I love the most, you know, at some point you have to say it's enough. And that's what's happening here. There's more than just a few of us that have come forward to stand up and say it's not going to be tolerated. It may be tolerated in different corners of YouTube, but you know, as far as we have anything to do with it, it's not going to happen on our watch with our children and our loved ones and those of our supporters or subscribers.
Are you surprised with the the people that have come forward, particularly over the past few days? I'm sure you've known about a lot of people, but particularly the momentum that this has gained.
Oh
I
Yeah,
yeah, it's been
I mean, that
amazing.
that has been one of the biggest things that have changed my views on several things. And
Yep.
that being with some of the people we did have past personal issues with that we've been able to either put it to the side or even talk and discuss things and understand why things went sideways with certain people.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. That's like I said before. I mean, that's been one of the most like incredible things is that there's been so many of us that have said, you know, despite whatever differences we have, we can both agree that this crossed the line and this went too far. You know, I mean, like right now in my mind, you know, there's like three people in the chat that are doing everything they can to derail, and I'm just trying to focus on the fact that there's been way more people that have spoken up and wanted to, you
yeah.
know, move forward in a positive direction and
I
have
mean,
said that this is not
honestly,
okay.
you know, and there are times that, you know, we give certain people some leeway because we know that they aren't on these chats all the time. They may drop in from time to time and they don't always get both sides of the stories, but those aren't the people that are out here, you know, defending her like diehard fans like they are. These people are the same people that were in the chat the night that this occurred.
Yeah.
So where's your accountability? Where's your accountability for you supporting that while it was going on? Because do you hate us that much that you're willing to sit there and support people who are going for our children in the manner that they're doing it, I mean, I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. To me, like this, just like I said, like Kuana, I'm going to use her as an example. I mean, me and her had some knockdown spats with each other over opposing opinions and whatnot. But she came forward and said that this is not okay, and she's been a really powerful voice, and I've been so grateful for her. But we're able to see that this was different. This was not like any of these past spats or anything. This crossed the line.
Many
And
victims
I don't.
came forward
Yeah.
that not just victims of abuse online, but that are survivors of abuse, and they were triggered, whether they were here already in the community or they are newcomers to the community. I've heard, Amber and I both have heard from plenty of people who have reached out to share their stories with us.
I tell you what, no, you're right. I'm just watching the chat here. There was a comment that, let me see if I can just go back to it.
Trying to have a go at Bam. Let me tell you something. I didn't care about the woman before this. I ignored her. I mean, it's just, I don't know, some of these comments, it's almost funny just how hard some people are trying to derail and and
Well, it's
whatnot.
not working, as far as I'm concerned, because it's not stopping any of the chat. I think we're still having good discourse on it. And ultimately, then I think, well, I look at as this, okay, let's put it this way. We've just had a similar chat requesting people to put the number 1 for a certain answer to a question. So I'm going to ask this question. Has this chat been beneficial, widespread to the people who have listened to it? If you could tap number 1 to that, just so I can get an indication of whether you've got something from it. Because one thing that this Stefan, this is another one of my subbers, because same again, a lot of my subbers won't know the backstory is, so they'll be seeing all this combobulation. Bleeding hell, Phil, this ain't normally like one of your chats, because we don't normally get all this up and down. We get the odd normal bit, but not normally. So that says something within itself. But he says, there's only a few chants I tolerate on here, can't do with the infighting. So it shows that responsibility and having a channel are two things that are supposed to be married together here. And it's showing the irresponsibility and people who own channels as well. And I'm not laying blame at anyone's door. This is an internalized look at yourself here, look at your channel, look at what you're doing, and look at what you're doing with it. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. That is an excellent point. And I myself have participated in some things that I regret now that I should have never participated in. And in my daily life, I would never otherwise participate in things like that. But we learn and we grow. And if you get up the next day trying to be a better person than you were the day before, that's all anyone can do. But these people want to keep rehashing old things, and then they want to attack you when you've been silent for any period of time, and then you do speak out about it. They don't want you to speak about it.
Right. They just want to silence you. I mean, yeah, I'm not, look, I've gotten in my spats. I've done some things, in arguments and whatnot, but this crossed the line. It's the bottom line is like, I don't know, to me, that what happened that day was just a sign of like, my God, guys, what are we coming to? Like, really?
Honestly, for you guys to say that, it's the most human response that I could ever expect from you. Because I know you're human, and I'd have to come in, and I said before, or when it comes to being reactionary, when it comes to me being dug out at times, in the early years, I went, pardon my French, but I went, fuck that, I'm not taking this. So I thought, well, I'm going to go and dig back. And then every time I'd done it, this is the lesson I learned. Although I felt power in doing it at the time, I felt I was getting somewhere and you're not going to do that to me. Ultimately, it wasn't so much the subbers openly told me I was wrong for doing it. They made me feel that I was being just as negative as them for doing that. And that put me in a hardened obligation because I'm like, man, Because then what you're saying is, then I've got to take the digs and I can't give them back out again. And it's almost pretty much going, well, yeah, Phil, if you're going to be a positive character, if you're going to do this shit properly, then I guess you have got to take some digs. I guess you have got to learn that if you're not going to be reactionary, you know what, put your headphones on and make a tune. Don't start looking at all the people you don't like or who might have just done a video, because it's not going to do your headspace any good. Do like what Ginger does. Go out on hikes, spend time with your family, cool down. By the time you come back online, you'll look at that with an element of ridicule rather than anger. But that's
Yeah.
me. I can't say that ultimately for everyone, and not everyone is wired up the same way. You know what I mean? So this is so difficult.
I know one thing that I try to do, and I can't say that I do it all the time, but one thing that I do try to do is if, you know, something's got me triggered, or, you know, of course, I mean, the thing that just, I mean, the stream with my kid, that's a whole different thing. But on a normal daily basis, if something that I see that upsets me, and, you know, somebody's going or lying about me or saying this, I try not to react right away. Like, it's always good to give it like a day, you know, then your mindset kind of changes about what's, you know, how you want to react, and if you want to react at all, you know.
True.
But I'm going to say this, like, I mean, guys, it doesn't, you know, Solange and whoever, it doesn't matter. You can say all the little tit for tat things you want, but what was done was too far, period. And there's nothing that's going to change that. So I just have to say that. But,
well, honestly, I've got to thank you both for coming on. And what I will say is, thank you, because I've not actually said it, thank you for trusting me. I'm an English YouTuber, and you've got every reason to
thank
go.
you.
Them guys, the last time I got involved with you Brits over there, look what happened. So there's you know, we've spoken, you've shared information, and there's every chance you've got to feel, well, can I ultimately trust this guy with this information? Is he going to utilize that against me? Where's the end game with all this? And we've had to all trust each other on this, and it's the same that I do with anyone else. Anyway, but I'd like to thank you for allowing me that time and space to get to know you, to get to know what's been going on in this.
No, I think
Thank you for
and
having us.
I want to say that the video that you made, with my words and hers, it was so powerful. It was so powerful, and I appreciate it so much. And you know, I'm just gonna always go back to the same thing, guys. Like, there was no excuse for it, none. And
Now, I would just like to add something to that, because most of you guys weren't there to witness the aftermath of that live and to see what kind of shape that left Amber in. She was victimized, and she lost sleep. She stopped eating. It affected her appetite. It affected her, you know, emotionally. A lot of you people don't realize the power, you know, the power behind an attack like that, and the devastation that person feels.
No clue whatsoever. So whenever I see things and you guys try to minimize it,
it's victimizing her all over again, and that's the truth.
You can. And I've seen this too many times. I've been in this nearly 6 years now. Let me tell you a story. There was another. This is too resonant. There was not a YouTuber. There was a grooming survivor that I interviewed called Samantha. I don't want to go too much into personal details because it is harrowing. The video is up there when I pretty much was just on the channel. She basically got the confidence through our interview to then speak out. She was invited to speak out at an event. She decided at the last minute to not turn up. Now, that was inconvenient, and it probably messed people about for various reasons. But what happened next with the breakdown of communication resulted in her getting trolled, her getting her Facebook targeted, and all kinds of accusations and castigations put on her. It resulted in her being pretty much a depressed individual and turning to self-harm, resulting in the ambulances turning up at her house. It's the same again. I look at this through a wide scope where if people want to look at it with their own emotion. I'd say you're being selfish. You're being selfish. I know too many people that this has affected for me to then go, I'm going to take it personal because this has happened to one person. I can run off 10 stories just like that. And yours is probably the 11th, the 12th. It might be only one of 100 that's coming up because it's still going to be ongoing. So at what point are people going to stop getting emotional and take things personal and listen to the broader point? Lives are broken because of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Anne, but I don't mean to keep taking it away from your point because I'm not. I'm totally backing you up here. What I'm trying to do is strengthen it by saying that there's many people that this affects, and it affects them personally on a psychological level as well as physically, self-harm, as well as try to attempt to take their own life.
But
So-
their supporters will tell you, well, then just log off. Those people need to log off. And then they go and attack them for their emotional or mental status at that time. You know, everybody handles things differently, like you said, you know, and I don't think you're taking anything away from Amber. I think all of it is important and needs to be spoken about.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean,
agree.
let's leave it here then. When it comes to family, I seen one of the posts that you put on, Amber, where you were talking with your daughter and you were mentioning about handkerchiefs. Let's say, is it handkerchiefs, little
The
napkins?
napkins?
The
Yeah.
napkins.
Yes.
Tell everyone about that story. That's a lovely story.
Oh yeah. Well,
It was.
it's just every day, like, I write on her napkins for her lunch, and sometimes, and or sorry, got distracted there. No, I write on her napkins every day for her lunch, and I draw pictures and whatnot. And every day she would come home and they wouldn't be used whatsoever. And I said, what's the deal here? Why don't you use your napkin? And she said, because they're special napkins and I want to save them. So, of course I save every single one of them that, she brings home, because how can I not? And so I mean, there's a video on my channel, but there's just like there's about 1 million napkins that I have now. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I just think that's, I don't know, to me that just like defines her. That's who she is. Like, she's the sweetest soul. And so
But
yeah.
Amber, that's who you are. That's why she is the way she is. And I've met her, and she is a beautiful little girl. But it's because of you that she is the way she is.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just,
Yeah.
I guess I put that out there because I know I just wanted people to just take in like just the overall innocence of a child, and that, the words that were said. I mean, she was called a whore. I mean, like, I don't, that word should never be associated with the child ever. And, but that's, I wanted to just put that out just to,
Same again. If the reaction of a hearted comment generated in calling your daughter a whore,
right.
what comment would have generated from her daughter being called, or the grandchild being called a whore or whatever? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's really weird, is that the over proportional behaviour, just imagine how over proportional it
God.
would be had that attack been laid at her as well. Same again, this is not about calling individuals out. It's saying, listen, look in the mirror, because anyone who delivers that, you know that you need to have a word with yourself. And it don't matter what you say. Go and have a word with yourself, because you know you were bang out of order there. And you know that there's going to be ramifications that are going to be set off. Let's look at it this way. How many YouTubers would you estimate that affected, in terms of not only who heard it, but who then went on the fight backwards and forwards on both sides? In your opinion, just an average guess. I can't expect you to be accurate on this.
Wait, so what did you say? How many YouTubers did it affect, you think?
I mean,
Oh,
if
God.
you think, yeah, well, exactly.
Well, I mean, let's just take you for example. We didn't know you, but you heard it and it affected you, you know? Um, Let me ask you, Phil, how did you feel when you heard that?
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was literally shocked. And what I really felt is that a stream like this undermines my streams. You understand what I mean when I say that?
Yeah.
Not that I took it personal. It's got no link to me, nothing at all. But when YouTube gets a bad name for people who just are mavericks online and they're going out saying what they want and inviting all kinds of anger and just taking things personal, then when I go tell people that I do live streams, guess who's attributed to all that negative energy? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like, no, I don't. I've in this journey that I've been on, I've met many individuals that have tried to do the cockfight. Come on, let's have a debate. Let's have this. Let's have that, and swinging it around, acting like the big hard men. In reality, they haven't got much intellect, and all they want to do is throw all the testosterone around the chat. And it never works for me. But ultimately, I've wanted to get the hell away from them. Because when I'm aligned to them, it makes me look bad. Makes everything I'm doing undermined. I don't receive money for this. I just do it for the sheer passion. And I want to be able to be beaming out something that's going to be positive for people that they can use. So when I'm going online and I'm witnessing that, I'm thinking, well, that's making my job harder. And not only that, there was a victim there. Not only that, I'm looking at all the people that are listening to it, the people that are not saying nothing, the people that are run away scared,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people that will then get bullied after it on both sides.
Yeah.
But this ain't taking sides on anything. It's just a big whole shit show.
It
Pardon my.
was, and I know that, and I have to say, like, to watch it that day and to see the people in chat not, that just didn't say anything. I mean, and I get it. Like sometimes you're, in the moment, but this went on for 8 hours and I just kept waiting. I'm thinking, is somebody in this chat going to tell her that she's going too far? And it never happened. And, and I know people that participated in that chat, afterwards they did, complain that they were getting attacked and this and that, but and I certainly don't ever, and I put a statement out that I don't label any of them, I don't label any of them the abuser, but they were complicit and they didn't say anything, I mean, I don't know, guys. We got
It's
to
not
speak
saying
up,
nothing. Not saying nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, you asked my opinion. I could have quite easily. I was sent that by a friend that I call a
Yeah.
friend, but he's a YouTuber. I could have quite easily gone, well, you know what? It's not my bag. I'm a creator. Let's go and do it. No, that affected me.
Yeah.
For days, even though I
Wow.
never knew YouTuber, I never knew YouTube, and I'm looking at him thinking, I can't believe I've just witnessed that. I mean, I've as you've seen,
Yeah.
Ginger, when I went down to London, you can see I can get in the police face. I can get right in the middle of the scene that's lively. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Then let's have it. But
Yeah, you definitely like to address the hard hitting subjects, and that was, I wanted to say thank you to Top Cat as well for introducing us.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes. I want
True
to give a
worry.
big thank you to her.
Worry.
I mean, it's kind of funny because when she started coming in the comments, at first I'm like, who is this woman? But she ended up being, very. I mean, to introduce you and and she's a lovely person.
She
I've
was
talked to her.
someone that, like most others, at one time or another had been on that channel, but stood firm in her morals and again didn't turn a blind eye to it.
And there was several that did. There were so many that walked away and said, that's it. That's too, I mean, because let's be honest here. Okay. Like when it comes to that particular creator, it's not like she hadn't crossed the line before. She had, but this was just I don't know. I think for a lot of people, it was their final thing that made them go, okay, can't do this anymore.
Let's put it this way. This is the obligation that any YouTuber should mirror against. If that was broadcast on a mainstream TV station, what do you think would happen?
Mm,
I don't like mainstream media, but I do like the professionalism
yeah.
of mainstream media,
I mean,
even if they are lily livered. And I'm sorry to use that word, but lily livered at sometimes, even how they do seem to want to bubble wrap everyone and make sure they don't upset everyone. There is an element of professionalism with putting out your content. So if that was to be beamed on one of the major free channels in this country,
mm,
we
God.
don't, I mean, or America,
I
that
mean, I
you be,
just,
you know,
yeah. I mean, I just feel like anybody that's an outsider, anybody with emotions, when they hear that, it affects you. How can it not? You know, anybody can look at that and say that's not okay. That it's not okay. Um, so again, I mean, the people making excuses. I mean, would you make like I said, if would you make an excuse if my daughter was right physically in front of her face and she was saying those words, would you make an excuse for it? Would you say, "Oh, well, she did this, so her kid deserved it"? No, you wouldn't. So why can't we look at it like that on here, you know? And you can apply that to any situation, you know?
without a doubt,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Because I
Eh,
mean, some of these, and sometimes it almost, I see things that happen on here where, it's, like 10, it's, what, 10 subs on one person going at them. I mean, to me, that's the equivalent of having them getting beat up by several people,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't
This
know,
is
and guys, look, I know I've had my spats. I know I've had my words with people, but I've never crossed the line in that manner, and I never will, you know. As much rage as that brought out in me, I would never wish any harm on her children, and I certainly wouldn't want those words spoken of hers, you know.
no. This is what This is when people say to me, "Oh, Phil, you're being played by all sides, Phil," and all this kind of stuff. The one thing that they don't assume or presume of me is that I've got my own mind, and if I want to look into something, okay, someone might go have a look at this, Phil. But it's very rare that I'll just go on the reaction and just post something. I'll take some time out. So what I did do was looked at the channel in particular, and it wasn't just the one video. I went back quite a while, and I was looking at stuff that was being posted post that event as well. It then led me to yourself. It then led me to Ginger. It then led me to other characters around as well. That I was looking at all the different material that was being put on, and then with that, I was being able to assess not so much who is to blame, because it is a shit show and
Yeah.
it's gone that far that it just exploded in that way, but there might be more to it than that, and that's fine. I don't think anyone can expect me to go, right, I'm organizing the stream now, I know who's to blame and this is why, because that would be wrong for me to do. You know what I mean? There's too much going on here. But
Yeah.
ultimately, when I look at what is happening with all the various YouTubers, I was able to see that you two guys, there was an element of decorum and respect. There was an element where you were shocked by the delivery, although you'd been friends. But there was a way of being that you were putting out where it was almost like you didn't know how to handle this aggressive wave that was put on you. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I mean that in a way that anyone would be, what the hell's just happened there?
Yeah.
Because I'm built to attack that with the same vigor that just attacked me. Does that make any sense?
It makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
And Solange saying I've always crossed the line. Okay, Solange, show me where I've ever done anything like this. I mean, I know I can't. I'm trying to ignore and not look, but again, I'm just amazed at the people that are
But that's
trying
just
to
it.
derail
Solange
and
has
making
everyone else
excuses.
blocked. She has everyone else blocked, but she doesn't have Amber blocked because she wants to sit here and further victimize her. That's what she's doing.
Can you
Amber,
not see her,
just
Ginger?
ignore her. No, I can't. She has me
Wow.
blocked.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, she has said that you gave her a death threat. I don't know when that happened. I mean,
Death threat.
Solange, just, Solange, what kills me is what you don't get is that I really did not speak up much about you. I had a lot of respect for people that were your friends that were coming up and saying that this is not okay, and I really part of me really did think that you were going to do the right thing and reach out and say, hey, regardless of what's gone on with us, that was too far. But I'm blown away just at the constant excuses and things that you've come up with to justify it. And it's gross.
Oh, that's right. I mean, Solange, if
It's gross.
you can't see the difference in between right and wrong and what we're talking about here, then surely you can hear it from your friends who have said the same to you, but you choose not to.
It says a lot. Even if there was
I mean, why do you
reason,
have everybody blocked with me?
Yeah.
That's a
I'd
good
have to-
question.
Well, if I had a circle of friends, ladies, that one of them had acted like this, even if they felt there was justification to it, I'd have to still say, mate, you were still out of order.
Yeah.
There's no way you can actually mitigate that action. There is nothing. There is nothing. You can say that what maybe led to it, yes, but then your own action, you have got a way of dealing with that. So if you deal with it in a low grade way, you're the one to blame. You can't mitigate. And this is what I'm saying. People mitigate their own low grade actions on the things that have happened to them. That is them not looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
And that's fundamentally the problem here. So if anyone is not looking at the overt way that this person put themselves out there, regardless, have said, okay, might have been a bit of a bad day for, whatever. There's only so much, but ultimately you've got to say there was still no need for it. It still shouldn't have happened. There was still many people that have heard that can never unhear it. Never mind the person it was directed to and the young child involved.
Exactly.
Simple.
Exactly. I mean, Solange, I'm just going to keep saying it. Dropbox. That was your brilliant idea that you sat there. You sat there the whole time. You were complicit the whole time. All right, that's enough of
she didn't just sit there. She engaged in it and egged Bam on when Bam was at her ultimate rage.
Get up here, Amber. Get up here. Take a link.
Frida, we have heard Solange. We've heard her for a month on her channel as she has continued to abuse us. Phil addressed it, and Phil said why he wasn't going to bring her up on panel.
There's nothing that's going to get resolved by bringing her up on panel. She
said everything she had to say for the past month.
Yeah.
If you missed out on that, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you.
This is what I've got to say to everyone on here, and you guys will appreciate it. You both sent me a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff that goes right back. Now, if Solange is feeling, or anyone else, out of place, that you've suddenly got an upper hand here, you haven't, because ultimately, if I wanted to do this to throw mud at any individual, you know as well as I do how much is in that chat room that I could have filled this stream up with. If I wanted to make it all about let's just attack who's, you know what I mean? I've not done that. I'm trying to be as balanced as anything and actually say, you know what, no matter what, it still trumps that this should never happen to a child. It still trumps that no matter what YouTubers have said in the past and the fallouts, it shouldn't transpire live. Right. But at the same time, I'm not in for let's throw a bit of mud that side, or let's throw a bit of mud back that side, because that's not actually getting anywhere anyway. And these guys have perpetually done it for what? 1 hour, 50 minutes?
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
you know.
To me, you guys saying, Phil, you're being played. Phil, you're kind of insulting him. mean, I think he's an intelligent enough man that he's done his research. And do you not think he's talked to us in depth and we've given him a
Look,
picture of the whole thing and done our
I mean,
best to,
I'm
you
not
know,
one to belittling people, but I've got 20,000 subscribers. I've been doing this for 5 years. I've
right.
interviewed various people, many big names, small names, unknown names. I've gone round all round the country of my own accord to seek out content and interviews. And I've worked with many organisations on many different levels, what in the background and in the forefront as well. So, same again, what I will say to anyone who is going to put that on me, look at your channel, look at what content you put out, look at how much intelligence you put into your channel, how much work in working with other people, whether it be in the forefront or in the background. Look at how much content that you generate around the country, and then come back to me and tell me that I'm being played by all sides. Because what you'll find is that this channel gets played by no one. This channel does its own thing.
Amen.
Sorry, didn't want to go there, but I don't. You know, there was a time when I come into this quite naively because I wanted to be everyone's mate, and I still do. But I've learned the hard way that you've got a lot of channels that have got problems. You've got a lot of people who run channels that don't know what they're doing. They haven't got the slightest idea on how to put content out positively, but yet they boast that they're a proficient channel. They don't know what they're doing. I'm just saying that. I can spend more time with my headphones on and get more pleasure than doing any stream at times because of the low grade lack of information that people are coming out with. The fact that people think they know it all when they know very little. And yet we're still in this same boat.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, and this might upset people. Doing live streams sometimes feels that you're addressing children rather than you're addressing adults. And I'm sorry that I've had to say that, but it's streams like this that make me feel that. Is that wrong for me to say?
No. No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. That's just it. Like, I mean, this, like I said, I don't know what part of this is not sinking into your brains. This was not, this crossed all lines. Listen to the audio. I mean, Sharon, I used to converse with you. I thought you were like a decent person to at least see that this was wrong. Not once have you said it's wrong. All you've done is make excuses. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm blown away, at some.
It's shown people's true colors. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it really has. It really has. I mean, not once have you answered the question if you think that was suitable to say about an 8-year-old. Sharon, do you have kids? What if yours was mentioned in that way? What if her private parts were mentioned? What if, she was called a whore, saying, oh, does her dad touch her? Does she like it? And I bet when I say that probably irritates every single one of you, and it should, because it's wrong. That's me on my soapbox.
No, ladies. I guess you're going to move on any content. If you would both like to, starting with Ginger first, your content moving forward, what is it you're going to be doing? What is it you're going to be working on? Where are you currently at this moment in time?
Well, I'm going to wrap up the end of this drama community that I've allowed myself to be sucked into on Monday with a live. But after that, I'm going back to true crime and continuing to share stories from other abuse victims. I will continue to do that. That's not going to change, just like when most of us have an intention to come on YouTube to do one thing or another, and you find yourself being pulled in other directions. And it's not just this specific incident, but as you said, it's online abuse as a whole. And there are plenty of people that have reached out to me that have shared their stories, and it's not that they want to continue to sit and rehash old things. It's that they want to help educate and inform newcomers so that they don't become a target themselves. But that's basically, so it's a little bit of a mix of a couple of things.
How have I had my say but not gotten anywhere? I think I've gotten pretty far with talking about this. I think a lot of people have come forward, and a lot of people have said that it's not okay.
No, Sammy, I think that a lot of these comments are just here to destabilize you. I don't think there's true merit to it. To be
Yeah.
fair, you know what I mean? Then you're a positive individual that's realised what's going on and you're moving through it positively. So, like you say, I mean, the one thing you've both said, you both probably said, well, there's actions that I'll hold my hands up to that I'm probably not proud of along this journey. And that is the most human thing that you could do. And I respect you for that. We all just think that as YouTubers, as content makers, when we've been got up, at least you're saying it and others in this chat don't seem to be saying it. So it speaks volumes. But in terms of your content and where you're at now, Amber, what are you going to start concentrating on?
That's a good question. Like I said, I do, this has been important for me to speak out about. And once I finally settle down from it all, I want to do more live streams. That's something I haven't really done much on my channel. I want to do more lives. I want to talk about things that I want to talk about. True crime, I'm in recovery. I talk a lot about that. And then I just enjoy just making funny videos and, of course anything that with my dance, anything with that.
Well, okay.
Sky's the limit, I guess. But I would love for there to be no more things like this to address,
Well, listen, ladies, you know that the Perrys are more than welcome back anytime I'm here, don't you?
Yes.
Right. First of all, and secondly, if you ever need any help in developing your channel for whatever I can do, not that I'm a bit of a technophobe myself, but I do excel in certain things. But one thing I want to talk about is the creativity angle of this. Now, I know Amber, you spoke about dance, and Ginger, you spoke about art, but I'm going to go to you first, Amber. Have you put your dance into your channel at all, or is that something that you've yet to do, or you've got no plans on doing it?
Oh no, there's several dance videos on my channel.
Right.
I don't know if you went down the rabbit hole. But yeah,
so
it's definitely.
What type of dance are we talking? Contemporary?
Yes, contemporary. I've studied in all areas, but that's my strong point is contemporary.
So
and
tell us more.
She's been given a gift. She's a beautiful dancer.
Right. So where have you danced? Where have you trained? Come on, Amber.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna go on this. Well, I mean, I trained all my life, and then I went to Point Park University, and I was on a full scholarship there. And while
you got your
there,
bachelor's?
Yeah, I got my bachelor's, and I studied with a few big names, and then I danced in a contemporary company based in Atlanta, and I've taught all over the place here, really. I have quite the story, but
Wow.
it's always been in my life, and it always will be,
Yeah, because I know you've been liking the music that I've been doing, and I'm thinking, what would be a really good idea if you could send me a video with some of your dance moves, and I'll create a video using some of my music to it. How's that sound?
That would be fun. I love y'all. He does.
I know, especially with his music.
He does great music.
Yes, he does.
And I've been wanting to work. My friend Leslie and I talked for a minute. I want to do more concept. I want to do concept videos where basically that's just a like a music video, but it's dance, but not like per se in a studio. It's I don't know. It's like more of a art expression, but you know, I've wanted to collab with her because she's an excellent editor. So
Right.
maybe we can get to that one day, Leslie, if you're listening.
That
So
would
we
be
did talk
excellent.
about it. You know.
I would love to do something just for my channel, obviously for you as well. But I'm more visual person, and just the idea of someone, a professional dancer, doing moves,
Yeah,
different sets of moves with different outfits, with different locations. All
That
my
would be great.
oh,
yeah,
yes. Let's
that's
do a
what I
bit.
mean. Yeah, I would love to do that. I've been
And we
wanting to
could
do
do
that
it as
for a
a
while.
or something, you know.
Yeah, and you know, it's been, I don't know, it's been the one thing in my life that I can always you know, I can, it's an escape, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm in recovery too, so you know, as somebody in recovery, I used to love to do things to escape reality. But you know, dance is just another way of doing it, and it's a healthy way, you know. It's
Without
a
a doubt.
healthy way for sure.
And
And
where would you reach out to Amber? Because I know when you've got a passion for something creative, the very thought of you not being able to do it anymore, imagine.
oh gosh, yeah, that would be hard, you
Mm.
know. And I love I really love to choreograph. That's like, that's one of my biggest attributes, I guess, is I've been able to work with a lot of talented dancers and choreograph for them, and that's been a joy.
I'd really want to see some of your work. Please send me some links of some of your dance stuff, if you
I
could, when you get
will. Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, there's several on my channel. But I'll direct them to you
brilliant.
for sure.
Ginger, how about you now with your art? Please tell me more about that.
Well, this honestly was supposed to be my little out away from, outside of my family, outside of my children and my husband. I'm not monetized. I came here I actually had never intended on doing lives or even being on or in front of camera. I simply just wanted to focus on true crime. And again, like with Amber, it's just a distraction. And it kind of took a different turn. But, I like you, like I love what you're doing with creating music, and Amber, what you're doing with dance. I love editing and creating videos, especially if it's for voices of people who aren't able to speak for themselves anymore, and trying to do that in a respectful manner where I'm not exploiting, a victim or a murdered person or anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best place to leave it. Isn't that the best point you could ever make, Ginger? That's the obligation that I'm talking about. It's the digital footprint that's a positive one and not a negative one, isn't it? You know what I mean? So when you're talking about your videos and editing there, you try to do it where you're not inflicting any harm on any other individual, or at least you don't intend to do that.
My
And
intentions have never been to do that, and not to bring back old things, but where I was originally drawn to because I believed that someone was victimized. I think when I look back, I can see how it was taken personally towards others, and that was never my intention. But moving forward, I have learned from those mistakes, and as you said, it's never intentionally about trying to victimize someone.
yes, well, the moment you do think that, then you shouldn't be online, should you? You know what I mean? If you've got that in your heart that you want to go out solely to get at somebody online, the best thing to do is go and do something else for half an hour and go and cool down, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've spent a lot of time trying to defend ourselves and trying to unravel the lies and putting up the proof where things weren't true that were said. But in the end, you see, it still doesn't change the minds of those who are going to support who they want to support. And ultimately, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Guys, this has been a pleasure. It really has been a pleasure. I'm sorry that we've had to meet under these circumstances, but it's probably the positive is something good has come out of something bad, you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think so.
thank you very
And I
much.
want to say, I want to just acknowledge everyone in the chat that I couldn't say hello to every single person, but I've just noticed everybody here that has come to support. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for, trying your best to, combat the few that have come in and tried to derail. I really appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Same here. Same.
no, that's fine. That's fine. We're all here together to try and just get something out that's legible. You know what I mean? Just get the
Yeah.
talk. The one thing I will mirror that I was astounded with the amount of people that rose to the occasion, not only to compile that video, but then to come out in support of this and ultimately said, I can't wait for this stream for whatever reasons. I'd like to thank them and say, you know what? I'm glad that you considered this channel a bit of a space, a neutral space that you could come in without fear of being attacked, or even though we've had a bit of people coming in creating vibes, it's been minor. You will always get it, but ultimately it's a safe haven. And if anything, the one thing that we can say that this generated is the safe haven was created instantly with numbers. That's what I felt with the collation of the video and with the amount of comments that were talking positively about this upcoming stream.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Phil, I can't tell you how grateful I am that you came in and like I said, that video you made is it made me cry because it was just so powerful.
Really?
Well, yeah. I thought it was from like a art. Like I said, I'm a visual artist too, so it just,
from a creative standpoint, it was very powerful.
Yeah. The music and the background and just the way that you presented it. I don't know how anybody can't watch that and it not strike a chord, really.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No, you don't have to thank me. I mean, the check will be in the post anyway, so don't worry about that. I hope you can afford me. That's all I'm going to say. I don't come cheap, ladies. I certainly don't. No, it was great. I mean, I love being creative, and the idea was very special. And same again, I just come out with a random idea with you online, and you rose to the occasion. My friends here on the YouTube circuit rose to the occasion, and the people in the chat rose to the occasion. So same again, is whatever creativity generated that, the positive energy that come from wanting to talk about this because people have been affected totally overrides what negativity I knew was going to come from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not disregarding the negativity either. I'm not one of them that throw, no, block and block. No, leave that. There's obviously bribes. So I just want people to go, you know what? With anything, just let people have their say. Understand what they are talking about. And maybe if you appreciate and concede on basic levels, maybe they'll do the exact same to you. And then maybe when two parties are in that mode, then you can actually get something in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is all we're trying to do.
I agree. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I'm so grateful for all of you that have come and support some of you. All I can say is, I'm just going to be honest. Shame on you. Sharon, I don't know what point you're trying to make. The only point that this is about is that crossed the line and it went too far. What else is there to,
No, but to be fair, it's digging up and it's redundant. And there's always an excuse. I broke that window because. You know what I mean? There's no because.
Right. There's no.
Yeah, there is no but in I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There is no but.
No.
We can all play that game. And where does it end? Who's to blame? And ultimately, then when you do play that game, the crazy thing is that no one seems to want to mention it. No one's accountable. So that means all the abuse that's transpired over these couple of years, no one's accountable for it because everyone's been able to mitigate it away like you're flicking playing cards. It's like,
Right.
really?
Right.
And this is like, the same as the reason why I got involved is because I don't like people being wronged. It's not about taking sides, it's going with the initial point. The same vigor that I applied to this would be the same vigor if I seen someone getting violated on the street. We're being taught in this society that you don't get involved because it's far safer if you stay out of it. But a lot of me thinks, well, sometimes if you don't get involved, things just lay there and no one's got the balls to actually say that this is wrong. So the fact that you're a women, you were women, even though it's all kind of women based, that was what's going on here. Although there's many male characters within it, doesn't seem the most dominant is the male here, so it's not a gender thing. But ultimately, there's an element of chivalry where this online thing, where digging out women and women that could be vulnerable or invulnerable, is not on. Bullying is not on. But then, the same again, the gender thing doesn't matter when me and Britt and I could actually say we know of a YouTuber that has tried to take his life on 2 separate occasions because of online bullying that he'd become a product of, and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how start we need to make it. It's like starting with the same points now that we was 2 hours ago. And you're still getting people that don't want to admit anything, don't want any accountability. So that means they're going to go home thinking that they've just been cut out for 2 hours. It's like, really, are you going to sit there and take it personal?
Yeah. It's sad in that way, yeah, I mean, it's disheartening to see some of the comments, but the positive outweigh it, for sure.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. I mean, y'all can try all you want, but the positive energy is outweighing you, big time.
And you've got a lot of people here that whether the support you or actually know you or not, standing up for the point of it, and that's solidarity. That is the common ground. And that's where many YouTubers over many platforms talking about many different things can all culminate and come together on that one central talking point. It's not difficult.
Right. Like I said, there are people that I have had tiffs with for 2 years, but they were able to see that this went too far. Regardless of whatever little spats we've been in, this went too far. To me, anybody with a brain can see that, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think that sums it up.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it sums it up. And to be honest, even with the haters, if it was your children that this was happening to,
yeah,
I would,
what would you do?
again, stand up against that. It doesn't matter whose children it is. It's off limits.
I mean, that's the question. I want you to ask yourself, all like, Sharon, Solange, what if it was your kid? All day that day, get in here, Amber, take a link. Come on, hounding me. And then I speak up about it, and but I'm never gonna not speak up about it. You can guarantee that.
That's what bullies do. They bully from the shadows. They do it from the shadows. And then, just like when Bam summons people to her channel, you guys don't even realize she has people pre-blocked. I mean, we know, we were there. We were part of that channel for a little while. We know exactly how it goes on. It's all for show. Well, it's not show for us. Our children are not content.
Right. Casper just made a good point. I mean, why don't you have everybody can see you? Why do you only have it to where I and, whoever else you have unblocked can see you?
Because she wants to distract you from speaking out, Amber.
And that's sad.
She doesn't want other people to see her doing it.
I mean, honestly, the things you're saying, I'd be embarrassed too. I wouldn't want anybody to see, but that's kind of cowardly, only making it to where I can see what you're saying.
Why
And-
don't you stop calling whose child a victim, Sharon?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sharon, just oh God. I mean, it's getting to the point. It's
Honestly,
like,
I don't think there's any merit for you really answering at this point, because you can see that every time you say something, the level that you're getting back is nowhere near at the level that's acceptable to come to the middle.
right, like
You know
I'm
what I
trying
mean?
to talk to you guys in a normal, like adult conversation. I mean, and I'm getting things. Amber, you're on an alt, you bozo. Solange, I'm not in the chat. I'm on the panel.
And
I
see,
mean,
people don't understand. They say, well, why can't everybody just go their separate ways for reasons such as this? And we did. We sat silent for 6 months and
well,
continued
yeah.
to endure the abuse. And so,
Show me.
yes, we have taken a stand and we have spoken out. We are not the bad guys for doing that.
Right. Like, show me where I ever did anything. I mean, really, if somebody can show me something that I've done to that woman, find it, because I've never done anything to her.
Or
I
their
just- I
children
mean,
or their family.
I mean, I know, because like she has said things like, well, she's friends with people that I don't like. Well, I mean, tough patooey. But it's nothing made that okay. Nothing. I mean, it's just,
And
but
Phil, thank you for remaining neutral and,
Yeah.
being able to sit through this. And one thing we didn't want was to bring, abuse to your channel. Because when
right.
you
That scared
when you
me.
do
Like,
this,
honestly, I was scared. I'm like, they're gonna, these same people, they're in the chat trying to do this. They're gonna go at him for just trying to be, a good person. And
she's messaged me throughout this, and that being one of our biggest concerns. But
Yeah,
know-
well, thank you, Ginger and Amber, for saying that. And it's very considerate. And I did consider that myself. But ultimately, if I was to think about the ramifications of things when I truly do believe I need to say something, I would never do it. With the points that I've covered over the past 5 years on here, if I was to truly sit and think about the negativity that may come, I wouldn't actually be on YouTube. You understand what I mean?
that's
So
right.
fully aware that this might result in thumbs down on videos, but the childish thing, and I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, but when I know I'm doing a video that visually looks good and the rhythm track shit up, and then when I'm seeing people just come in maliciously thumb it down, it makes me laugh. It don't make me think, oh, what am I doing bad? Because I think, well, that music there, I've just made it myself using pretty basic equipment. I don't see too many other YouTubers making a tune of that quality.
No, I have to pay for my subscription, and I mean the music that you've put out is really,
I love your music.
and
I love it.
it supports your content. Your content. I've been scrolling back through watching things over the past couple of weeks, and I mean the music really it can make or break a video, and your music really brings your message home.
Yeah.
In each of your videos.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's just another edge. And I will say this, I've got to be very thankful to my subbers, because my subbers have watched my journey from going from very basic videos to technologically getting better and better, and then starting to introduce my music. But that still doesn't always appease the subber, because then it's not a personal choice. The music I play might not be the taste of the person. So there was always little tricky elements. I've had comments, people saying derogatory things about the music as well. So it's a question of, you've just got to support what you go for and go for it. And I know when I'm growing, what I'm trying to say is when you get thumbs down, you start to look at it with amusement. Because if you feel that you're actually getting better with something, but yet someone has come in on a low tick just to thumb it down, it says more about them than about your content. Do you understand what I mean? So I never look at it as a personal thing. Not that I'm arrogant and think, well, everyone loves it. I'm sure there might be genuine reasons, but when in this market, you get a lot of people that just thumb you down just for spiking you. Just because they want to make it look like not everyone likes your stuff. They won't even look at your stuff. I've had people who just, as soon as I put a video out, they'll put a thumb down and won't even watch it. They'll turn it off and go. It's like, really? You sit on someone's channel just to thumb down their material. So all that amuses me.
Right.
Can't do you? You know, I can't
Totally.
let that. So this topic didn't affect me. If it does create flack, then I'll deal with it intellectually and I'll walk through it why I'm dealing the flack. That's why I said in a little bit of the rant at the beginning stream, if people want to start that silly game of trying to invite me in on a negative thing, I'm not going to play that game. I'm probably going to do another music video showing your comments where you try to be derogatory to either my guest or myself. So I'll get some out of it anyway. It's like you're only really feeding me fuel. One thing I will say, I've interviewed leaders of racist parties. National Front, I've covered that. One of the leaders of the National Front, which is a racist, known as a racist party in this country, he accused me of, I unwittingly used photos of his, one of his events that he went to, because someone else wanted me to do a video and they sent me a series of photos. I later found out they were his photos. He then went on a stream criticizing me for using them photos, but he criticized me on the belief that I knew that they were his photos. So it gets a bit complex. So I thought, you know what? Rather than be reactionary, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a tune. So what I did do, I took his vocal and I used it to create a jingle. I thought the best way of using negativity, rather than me posting something and criticizing him because he's a known racist and because he's called me out, I'll do this. And this is what I've done, guys. This is the very jingle I've done with that negative scenario.
Red pill, pill, use some of my photos. Red pill, Phil.
So that's how I deal with it. So if
Creatively.
what I then do is stream and start spouting my name, it's the best thing they could do because I need more material. I need more vocals to scratch with, and I need more visuals to put in music videos. So that's the energy in which I attack this with. That's not reactionary. That's being creative.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's a game I don't, I'm beyond that. And what I'd say to you guys, and it sounds like you're on it, just something one person said to me, don't let anyone stop you shining.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
right. Don't let anyone dull your shine.
You know, you've got something to give to the world. Don't let the darkness stop you doing it. It's going to try and it's going to keep on trying, but don't let it win. You know what I mean? The more you shine, the more it'll piss them off, but the more you'll become attractive to people around you. And that don't mean physically, that just means on a cosmic level. That's the way I always see this. And once I'm feeling that, now I feel like I levitate through YouTube because hardly any of this stuff really gets to me anymore. I'm on a different plane.
Yeah. And it shows. It shows.
Sharon, you're being rude to him, to Phil. You know, this is his platform.
Wow, what she said.
Oh, that you need to wake up. And I think I said something about the music in the video, and she says she's mocking, going, "Oh, the music." And she's just, you're showing yourself. And, you know, like I said, I really, you know, I used to converse with you and I used to enjoy conversing with you. And, you know, why you are trying so hard to somehow make what she did right, I don't understand. And it's not for me to understand, but, you know, you're being really disrespectful to this person's channel, in my opinion.
Well, not in a way. Same again, I don't want to pull rank, but I've been doing this a long time. I've got 20,000 subscribers. It's not a big thing. I could quite happily have 1,000 subscribers and be just as happy. It's the quality within it, but it's where I've traveled and the content that I cover and the vigor in which I do it with. I'm almost certain that the person that's criticizing me doesn't do that. So why should I take that on board?
Yeah.
Has this person got any ability in DJing? Has this person got any ability in professional video editing? Has this person got any ability in interviewing people? Has this person got any ability of traveling around the country, working with organizations, trying to bring them all in to inform people? Because if they haven't, then why should I take any single word that they've taken? You know what I mean? I don't get it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like
Place.
when somebody, wants to insult one of my dance videos, it's like, all right, you get up and do it, like, this is coming from somebody that knows absolutely nothing about it. So why should I even, they're just saying it to be mean, bottom line,
Well, I mean, that's the one thing that you do learn that you've got to take with YouTube as well. You do get people that sit there in judgment.
Yeah.
Sit
Yeah. I mean,
there.
when you put something out, you have to expect that, absolutely, but I think that just goes
But you
back
don't see
to
them
our,
doing it. And
well,
it's not as easy as it looks.
I think this all goes back to our original thing is, you put stuff out, you have to expect opinions and you have to expect backlash on certain things. But what you don't have to put up with is when it crosses the line, I think that's just sums up everything,
Yeah, I agree with you.
But hey, guys, listen, we don't want to go round in circles here. I mean,
Yeah.
one thing we will say that we've got much love in this chat, and it's been very proactive and productive. Even the negative bit, there's been something productive that we've been able to talk about out the negativity. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm really buzzing that you've come on the channel. And like I say, you're more than welcome, the pair of yous, at any time. If you want to discuss any future projects, if you want any help, I certainly want you to send me them links, because in the next week or so, I'm looking at maybe just having a little dabble in the quiet with a couple of your dance videos and create something with one of the tunes that I've got. So
Yeah, absolutely.
let's
I will
keep that.
absolutely send you some.
Okay. Well, is there any last words from the pair of you that you want to say before we call it a day on this?
I just want to say thank you. That's everything. Thank you so much for being the neutral person to, shine awareness on this and keep it out there in the public platform, and and helping to educate others and newcomers that come onto this platform. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, same. Thank you. You didn't have you certainly didn't have to do this, and so I just thank you. And from somebody that's coming from, from the person who was attacked, it just means a lot to me that you took the time to do this. And to just everybody that's spoken up about it, that outweighs all of the way I see it. There's so many people that have spoken up about this and done the right thing, and there's a handful of people just trying to do whatever they do. So
Shine a light.
the positive outweighs it, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And you know what, to answer your question there, that's very humbling you saying that. And there's a saying that we have in England: don't blow smoke up my ass. It kind of means that don't put me on a pedestal for what I've done, because in reality, what I would have to say as a YouTuber, if you as a content maker had watched a video where I was being vilified at such an aggressive nature, I would love it if you stood up. I would love it if in your hearts of hearts have said, I can't believe what I've just watched. I don't know this person, but they surely didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
I mean, that
it.
didn't deserve any special status for me for actually saying, well, fuck it, I'm going to talk about this.
Right. And I want to say, I absolutely hope, and especially the ones that are trying to make excuses, I really hope this never happens to, well, I don't know if you have kids, if you have kids or someone you love, I really hope that you're never put in that position. I don't wish, honest to God, as much rage as this gave me, I would never wish any harm like that on her children at all. So, thank you for everybody that's just taking a stand on it.
You can see it in the comment section. Everyone's feeling the love through it. So that's ultimately the positive. There's no negative here. 3 people getting together, sharing a bad experience, but getting a positive out of that bad experience. Other people within the chat that can ultimately realize that and see that and appreciate it, But in my opinion, other people that are at a different conscious level that just want to come in on a different vibe. It's clear to see. And I'm not condescending them. I'm just saying, look in the goddamn mirror and you'll see it.
Yep.
You're never going to bring any peace in your life if you keep coming into chats doing that.
Yeah.
I'd say. I'm going to switch this off now, stick my headphones on, and I'll be shaking my head aggressively to some dirty fat ass beats within half an hour. I'm not going to have any kind of, oh, I need to do a video because that. No, I've lost it. As soon as this stream's done, I'm off. Mentally, physically, and everything. And I'm sure you two will as well. So we want to kind of keep it level for people that have come in with that tip. Go and chill out. And I don't mean that dissing you. I mean that. Go and do something that brings you peace in your life because something will go on it. Surely.
Yep.
Sorry. I tend to rant every now and then, ladies. Can't stop myself.
Yep, and I just wanted to say thank you to your mods as well. And again, thank you. And I think you presented it well.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
Tried.
Absolutely.
Tried. All we can do. We've done a good job, ladies. All three of us together. 3 reds in the room. 3 reds are better than 1.
Right. I know that's
That's
what I've been
right.
saying. You got 2 reds and red pill Phil, red power.
You know what? I was actually going to buy a blonde wig. I was going to buy a ginger wig, and I was
that'd
going
be
to start the stream
hysterical.
with a wig on, and I thought, I don't know, because I don't know what the vibe's going to be like. I don't know whether that's going to be screenshotted and sent all around the world. Maybe
Yeah, I love it that it kind of went along with your channel name. Now, the red pill, is that a spinoff from the Matrix? Like the the truth is the truth pill, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did suffer somewhat of an abuse because a way people could throw mud at me was then to call me blue pill Phil instead of red pill Phil. And I got quite aggressive at some point. Yeah, honestly, I've had a journey myself where I've gone through the different genres of things that I've covered. I've had to tackle abuse along the way as I've gone. And my mod, Great Brit, he's been with me from the beginning. So he'll be able to tell you. He can corroborate everything I'm saying. So he even knows. He was one of the first people to give me his logo and going, dude, put that on your video because you know what I mean? It's a point everyone can really understand. So it's not an hard one to make, really.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. And even thank you that dog who's in the back. Whose dog is that?
That's mine. That's Buster. The one that
That dog want to get a Solange or something or what?
What now? That's my that's Buster. He's I don't know, he thinks he hears something, I guess. That's the big that's my little wiener dog. Well, he's big. He's a stuffed sausage.
Wow.
Bless his heart. He's I just posted a video with him. He's a little bit older. Bless him.
Oh, he's protecting you. How cool is that?
I know. Love
Guys,
doggies.
this is great. I mean, obviously, we're still going to stay in the background on the chat. We're still going to keep in touch. And please send me them links, and I'm going to send you links to mixes because I know you was asking about any mixes that I've done online and things like that. So we're going to stay close. It's going to be a nice little union that's formed this.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you to everyone in chat, and y'all have a good night.
Yeah, thank you so much, the ones that have come and supported.
Excellent. Well, excellent, ladies. I'll have to bid you a good night. You enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend, your Easter as well, and no doubt we'll be on YouTube very soon together as well.
Yep.
Thank you.
Same to you. Happy Easter, everyone.
Yes. Happy Easter.
Bye.
See you later,
Bye.
ladies. Bye. Bye-bye now. Wow. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Monsieur Great Brit. He's the man, I tell you. He's been dragged through the coals like I am, right? I tell you, that man, his feet must be so tough with walking on all them hot coals. I don't know how he does it. He's a star and I love him. So I'd like to thank all the people who've been in the background, whether you're a moderator or whether you're one of my subbers that have been closely monitoring and just speaking up, whether it goes to Rob, Tracy, Dolly Daydream, or the endless others. I'd like to thank the new subscribers that have come in and thought, what the hell is going on here? I hope you've been entertained. I hope you've had a decent stream. I hope you then take what is left of the Easter weekend and try and make the most of it for you and your family. That's the main thing. Spread a bit of love. Let's get a bit of love going. I'd like to give a big thank you to the ladies, Amber's, Alert, and Ginger Ninja. Loved that chat. Even loved the negative discourse. We're all adults, aren't we? So thank you very much, guys. I don't know how I'm going to tell the wife, but I'm supposed to be doing a stream in the next 12 hours. So get on that in regards to Katie Jane Swallow and Children's Matter.news. So if I suddenly turn up with a black eye in the morning, you know why. Okay? So love you all, guys. Love you all. Thank you to everyone jumping on. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be back on. And keep an eye out for other content coming up in the next few days. As ever, I'll have to say one more thing in it. Enjoy your weekend. I love you all. Thanks, Amber. Thanks, Ginger.
I love you. 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 I love you.
Even the pissing haters.
I love you. 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 I love you.